Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Ratamadhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishimat His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantara Shiman Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shishiguru and Shigoranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonum, Chapter 83, Draupadi meets the Queens of Krishna. Text number 1, but before that, we'd like to read the chapter summary by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. This chapter relates a conversation between Draupadi and Lord Krishna's foremost queens, in which each of them describe how the Lord married her. Lord Shri Krishna returned from his meeting with the gopis and asked King Yudhisthira and his other relative whether they were well. Whether they were well. They replied, quote, "My Lord, anyone who has just once imbibed through his ears the honey of your pastimes can never know misfortune." End of quote. Then Draupadi inquires from Lord Krishna's wife how the Lord had come to marry them. Queen Rukmini spoke first. Quote, "Many kings, headed by Jarasandha, were intent on giving me in marriage to Sisupal. Thus, at my wedding, they all stood with bows in hand, ready to support Shishupal against any opponents. But Sri Krishna came and forcibly took me away, as a lion takes his prey from amidst goats and sheep." End of quote. Queen Satyabhama said, quote, "When my uncle Prasena was killed, my father Satyajit falsely accused Lord Krishna of murder. To clear his name, Krishna defeated Jambavan, recovered the Shamantaka jewel, and returned it to Satyajit. Repentant, my father presented the Lord with both the jewel and myself." End of quote. Queen Jambavati said, "When Sri Krishna enters my father's cave in search of the Shamantaka jewel, at first my father, Jambavan, did not understand who he was. So my father fought with him for 27 days and nights. Finally, Jambavan understood that Krishna was none other than Ramachandra, his worshipable Lord. Thus he gave Krishna the Shamantaka jewel along with me." End of quote. Queen Kalindi said, quote, "To obtain Krishna as my husband, I performed severe austerities. Then one day Lord Krishna came to me in the company of Arjuna, and at that time the Lord agreed to marry me. End of quote. Queen Mitravinda said, quote, Sri Krishna came to my Swayamvara ceremony, where he defeated all the opposing kings and took me away to his city of Dwarka. End of quote. Queen Satya said, quote, my father stipulated that to win my hand, a prospective suitor will have to subdue and tie up 7 powerful bulls. Accepting this challenge, Lord Krishna playfully subdued them, defeated all his rival suitors, and married me. End of quote. Kimbhadra said, quote, my father invited his nephew Krishna, to whom I have already given my heart, and offered me to him as a bride. The dowry was an entire military division and a retinue of my female companions. End of quote. Queen Lakshmana said to Draupadi, quote, at my Shrayamvara, as at yours, a fish target was fastened near the ceiling, but in my case, the fish was concealed on all sides, and only its reflection could be seen in a pot of water below. Several kings trying to hit the fish with an arrow but failed. Arjuna then made his attempt. He concentrated on the reflection of the fish in the water and took careful aim. But when he released his arrow, it only grazed the target. Then Sri Krishna fixed his arrow on the bow and shot it straight through the target, knocking it to the ground. I placed the victory necklace on Sri Krishna's neck, but the kings who had failed raised a violent protest. Lord Krishna valiantly fought them, cutting off the heads, arms, and legs of many, and sending the rest fleeing for their lives. Then the Lord took me to Dwarka for our lavish wedding. End of quote. Rohini Devi, representing all the other queens, explained that they were daughters of the kings defeated by Bhamasura. The demon had held them captive, but when the Lord Krishna killed him, he had released them and married them all. Text number 1. Sri Sukha Uvacha Tatanugriya Bhagavam Gopinam Sagururgati Yudhistiram Atha Prichat Sarvanscha Sruhrido Vyayam. Sri Sukha Uvacha Tatanugriya Bhagavam Gopinam Sagururgati Yudhistiran Atha Prichat Sarvanscha Sruhrido Vyayam. Sri Sukha Uvacha Tatanugriya Bhagavam Gopinam Sagururgati Yudhistiran Atha Prichat Sarvanscha Sruhrido Vyayam. Please chant. Sri Sukha Uvacha Tatanugriya Bhagavam Gopinan sa gurur gati Yudhistiran ata prichat Sarvanscha sruhido vyayam Sri Sukha uvacha Tatanugriha bhagavam Gopinan sa gurur gati Yudhistiran ata prichat Sarvanscha sruhido vyayam Sri Sukha uvacha Tatanugriha bhagavam Gopinan sa gurur gati Yudhistiran ata prichat Sabascha sruhido vyayam Sri Sukha uvacha Tatanugriha bhagavam Gopinan sa gurur gati Yudhistiran ata prichat Sarvanscha sruhido vyayam Sri Sukha uvacha Sukadev Goswami said, Tatha, in this way, Anugriha, showing favor, Bhagavam, the Supreme Lord, Gopinam, of the young cowherd woman, Saha, he, Guru, their spiritual master, Gatihi, and go, Yudhistiram, from Yudhistira, Atha, then, Aprichat, he inquired, Sarvam, O, Cha, and Suhridha, his well-wishing relatives, Abhyayam, welfare, translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sukadev Goswami said, thus, Lord Krishna, the spiritual master of the gopis, and the very purpose of their life, showed them his mercy. He then met with Yudhishthira and all his other relatives and inquired from them about their welfare. Purport. The words Guru Gati have been translated here in their usual sense, spiritual master and goal. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, however, points out an additional meaning. While Lord Krishna is the goal for all sadhus in general, for the gopis specifically, he is the goal, he is that goal which is guru, predominant, in the sense of completely eclipsing the significance of all other possible goals. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Brahmapada Swami Giti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, short, so just to read from himself, from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, what the disciples of Srila Prabhupada quoted here. In the 83rd chapter, Krishna is praised by his friends. On inquiry from Draupadi, the queens of Krishna describe how he married them. Just as Krishna satisfied the gopis, so Krishna, he was merciful to the others. He inquired from Yudhisthira and all the other friends concerning the welfare or auspiciousness. He is the goal of all devotees, for he is the greatest object of love for the gopis, Guru Gati. So, the narration of this very important event that happens during the whole Mahabharata epic, in which during this particular solar eclipse, you have basically all the major players in the Mahabharata were all gathered in one place, in the Kurukshetra, the sacred land of Kurukshetra. So it was a very significant event for many, many, many reasons. Most important was the after so many years have passed of Krishna having left Vrindavan, was that reunion of all the inhabitants of Vrindavan with Krishna. So the narration is very heart-wrenching and very beautiful. And we know, as we've been reading throughout, that this union has been immortalized by the great festival of Ratha Yatra. And so it's something that is performed every year for the pleasure of the Lord. So it's a very, very beautiful pastime. The place of Kurukshetra is very amazing. We have the great fortune this year, as we join the Yatra organized by His Holiness Romapat Swami, and one of the places that we visit was Kurukshetra. And quite incredible. There is a very amazing, beautiful temple that is being built there by the devotees, Srila Prabhupada's devotees, Iskun Kurukshetra. The temple is a magnificent temple that, if you look from the distance, it looks like a chariot. So you have gigantic, like really, really huge 4 horses in the front of the temple. And then the temple itself is like a regular temple, but it have these huge wheels so on the side. So from the distance, it looks like the chariot being pulled by the horses. And so it is in construction right now, and there is deities there of Krishna and the Astashaki gopis, and Radha and Krishna, and Lord Jagannath too. And anyway, very, very wonderful. And the temple devotees there are quite fantastic. they have a group of devotees, very incredibly bright and knowledgeable, not very old, maybe in mid 30s, you know. They had some of the devotees who are heading the program there. And what they have done is this amazing work that they have basically organized and researched all the different places of pilgrimage in the whole Kurukshetra, all the different places that the pastimes of the Lord during the battlefield of Kurukshetra, you know, where for example, the place where Duryodhan hid under the water, it is explained that he went in this particular place in this huge lake that is there that is called the Brahma Sarovar, and there's a specific place where he hid, and then there is a place where he fought with Bhima and got killed, and there's places with this, you know, where Bhishma Dev was shot by the arrows and with his line. So there's all these different places when Karna was killed, Ashotama, not Ashotama, sorry, what's the name of Lord Krishna's son? No, Subhadra's son, Abhimanyu, where Abhimanyu was killed. So all these places they have located, and so they're doing amazing work, and also um, they were able to do this in accordance to the writings of the acharyas. So they have brought together not only you know, very in a very authoritative way. They have done that. So it's quite fantastic. So in Kurukshetra, in the Bhagavad Gita is described as Dharma Kshetra. We know that, you know, Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is considered Dharma Kshetra. So you have a very rich history of why this place is considered, you know, a place of Dharma. And first of all, when we visit Kurukshetra, we visit the place in which the Lord narrated the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, the very spot when Arjuna say, "My dear Lord, please draw my chariot into the middle of the battlefield because I want to see who's there to fight." That spot is there. That spot, the middle of the battlefield. And right now, in that spot, there is a beautiful banyan tree, huge, with, you know, the huge banyan tree. And in that banyan tree is the spot, the very spot. It's quite amazing, no? That Prabhupada explains that in the Bhagavad Gita, in the purport of that first verse. He say, it's a real place. Forget about this talk on these so-called intellectuals, scholars, and so-called politicians and sadhus, so-called sadhus, that says that this is a place that is either mythology or something that is representative, that is, you know, that is created, is something that is given to actually tell you about more of how would you say, that represents, you know, that is not real. It's not a real place, huh? Yeah, it's like mythology, but it's also, you know, um, to to teach you about, a play, that it represents your body, it represents something else. But Prabhupada says, allegorical, yes. But Prabhupada says, no, this is a real place. You can go there. You can go there. You can go to that place and you can see that it's a historical place. And it's a historical place that has been there from the beginning of the creation. It's quite something. The story of Kurukshetra is very rich. So we were there at the place where Krishna narrated the Bhagavad Gita, and we listened to the pastimes there and to all the narrations. Very, very wonderful. Very close to that place, of course, as you remember in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna instructs Arjuna, and a little past the middle of the narration, Arjuna asks Krishna, please show me your universal form. And right there's a spot that shows what Krishna, boom, shows the universal form. You walk a little bit from the banyan tree where the Arjuna and Krishna's chariot was, and a little walk there, then the universal form was shown, the very spot. Incredible. So then we went to this place that is called the Brahma Sarovar. And it's a very amazing, it's a huge, huge, huge lake. And it is explained that in that place is the cradle of the whole universe. It's where Lord Brahma created the universe. He came to that spot, and in that spot, he created the universe. That's the spot. So, and he created this lake while performing the service of creating the universe. In that lake, all the holy waters were contained. So it is understood that in that lake, when you come and take bath in that lake during a particular period, astrological period, you can achieve the result of performing more than 1,000 Ashwamedha sacrifices. So it's a very, very, very powerful holy place. So you go there in general in two astrological situations. One is when there's a particular day in which there's no moon in the year, usually falls during April. I can't remember the name, Amavishya Soma something. And then there's a solar eclipse. Those two occasions is if you go and take bath in the Brahma Sarovar at that time, you achieve a huge spiritual benefits. So this is from the time of the creation. So it's understood that this is a place in which you go and perform dharma and acquire religious, spiritual credits like that. So it is for that reason that during the solar eclipse, all these different personalities came to that place of Kurukshetra. Now, the name Kurukshetra came later. It's explained we were told all these stories there. The name Kurukshetra came, the Kurukshetra translate as the land or the region of King Kuru. Kuru was the um, the ancestral, one of the kings in the dynasty of the moon, coming from King Bharat. And he was such a powerful, influential king that from him, then the dynasty in which the Pandavas and the Kauravas were brought, they came from King Kuru. Kuru. So is the basically the head of that dynasty in which, you know, all the Pandavas and the Kurus were. Yeah. So the story says that King Kuru was a very powerful, pious king. And he wanted to perform a great, great sacrifice in this land. So he chose this tract of land by the Brahma Sarovar because it's a very holy site. And he took his chariot, his golden chariot, and he created a plow. And he started to till the land there. The reason he wanted to till the land because he wanted to cultivate all these uh, qualities, the qualities of righteousness, all these Brahminical qualities, compassion, all these different things. He wanted to cultivate those. And, you know, as he's performing all this sacrifice, then Lord Vishnu came. He became pleased by his austerities that he was performing with the desire to cultivate these qualities. And then Lord Vishnu asked, well, where is the seed that you want to plant? Where are the seeds to be able to plant and to cultivate? You know, to cultivate, you have to plant something. Where are the seeds for all these qualities? And then King Kuru started to offer his body. His body will be the seed of these qualities. So Lord Vishnu, with his chakra, he cut different parts of his body and they was all planted. It's just, including the head. So he basically gave his full body for developing this or cultivating these important positive qualities. Lord Vishnu was very pleased, and not only he make him whole again, but also asking for boons. And King Kuru said that this land should be known as a place of religion. He asked for two boons, and this place should be known always on his name. So it became Kurukshetra. And the second boon was anyone who dies there, regardless of how sinful they were, they should obtain the heavenly regions. They should actually should obtain liberation. Yes. As the sages who were there, they heard that, they protested. Lord Indra, that was demigods there, everybody came. They say, no, that's not right. You have to do proper work to actually be able to ascend. like that. And so they protested. You can, if you're a sinful person that doesn't do any type of meritorial work to be able to receive liberation, then that's not appropriate. Then they came, King Kuru and the different demigods, sages, Lord Vishnu, they came to the conclusion, okay, so let it be that only people who fight, warriors who fight and die there, they can achieve liberation. And and sages who do austerities and die there, they can also achieve. So that was fulfilled like that. That was given, that benediction. Therefore, a battlefield, a place. Therefore, that's why it was chosen to be a place for war, for a battlefield. It became clear. But again, it's a place of great, great religious merit. So I have a little time. So that's some of the things that just remember in our pilgrimage to Kurukshetra. I'm going to read from the Gopal Champu, which is Rajiva Goswami's narration of Krishna's pastime. He speaks about this meeting at Kurukshetra, because it's very interesting. One thing, in the beginning of the previous chapter, our acharyas explain that the way Srila Sukadeva Goswami is narrating, at one point there's no chronological sequence. Like, remember, we just heard him narrating the Ashwamedha sacrifice, the killing of Shishupal, and then the killing of Jarasandha and all these different things. They came, and then this narration comes, what we're reading now, but that happens before that. That happens before the Ashwamedha sacrifice. So much, much before. Actually, it is explained that it happens not so far from the time that Kamsa was killed. Not, like in between. So much earlier. Actually, it is during the Ashwamedha sacrifice that Duryodhan envy exploded in a very consequential way that led to all the different other events, that led to the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Pandavas got cheated and they got exiled, etc., etc. That happens after the Ashwamedha sacrifice. So this happened before. This happened before. So anyway, I read a little bit from Gopal Champu and tells you a little bit of what all these personalities were doing during the pilgrimage to Kurukshetra. This is chapter 24. And then the Gopal Champu is a narration and explains that there is these two brahmanas in the court of Nanda Maharaj who are narrating the pastimes of Krishna. Krishna was also present in that court. So his name is Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta, two brothers narrating. So this is Snigdhakanta speaking. It is not possible to describe the pomp of the people gathered at Kurukshetra. I can describe some among all the various actions performed by people gathered at Kurukshetra for the eclipse. But please hear about one understanding memory, the sweet nectar flowing from the gleaming face of the Lord that is spread everywhere. I will describe a little of what is pleasing to us and which is spread everywhere. At Kurukshetra, the sun became invisible and Rahu became visible, attaining Krishna after coming from Braja. Nanda, along with his people, gathered piles of jewels from the treasury to distribute. On seeing the eclipse, all the people engaged in various acts of charity. Some desired dharma by giving to devatas and pitris. Some desire artha and some desire liberation. Some desire bhakti to Krishna. The cowherds desire only Krishna's well-being. When the festival of the eclipse was complete and Krishna had satisfied the Prajapatis present in the form of devatas and humans by his qualities and was himself satisfied by the prema of the Braja people, the Kumaras and other sages arrived to give realization of the bliss of Brahman. Not only were the sages surprised by Krishna's prosperity, but by his humbleness in front of them. The prosperity and humbleness, though of contrary natures, coexist in harmony. They spoke of this as per the Bhagavatam. Quote, today our birth, education, austerity, and vision had all become perfect because we have been able to associate with you, the goal of all saintly persons. Indeed, you yourself are the ultimate supreme blessings. This is what is coming in next chapter, 1084:21. In this vein, there is another verse. Although we see you in every kappa in various forms, the essence of our goals appears newer and newer each time. Though Dwarpa Yuga will not be destroyed to remove the doubt, it is possible to destroy doubt at the end of Dwarpa Yuga since you become visible. They consider in the minds, though the Yadus reside with Krishna and understand his intentions, they do not speak of the cowherds, whose food thus is desired by Brahma. Wondering where the cowherds were, they then asked permission to leave and were about to go. Vasudeva, with a desire to make his wealth successful, made a request to the sages, quote, please give instructions on how to destroy karma by doing actions. End of quote. Narada began thinking to himself, quote, Vasudeva is not aware of the pure parental feelings of Nanda. Nanda is praised profusely as follows. Quote, O learned Brahmana, Mother Yasoda's breast milk was sucked by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What past auspicious activities did she and Nanda Maharaj perform to achieve such perfection in ecstatic love? But Vasudeva is not praised like that. He is respected because he thinks of Krishna as the Supreme Lord. He thinks of Krishna since his birth as follows. My Lord, you are the Supreme Person, beyond material existence, and you are the Super Soul. Your form can be perceived by transcendental knowledge, by which you can be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I now understand your position perfectly. Anyway, he goes on narrating uh, some of the interactions that all these personalities have with the sages as they performing all these pious activities, um, and that take place in this meeting with Krishna. So we have here the Yadus that came with Krishna, but also all the Brijavasis and also the Kurus. All they came there, so they were there. Bhishma Dev, the Pandavas, the Kurus, Dhritarashtra, everybody was there. So specifically, we're going to hear about the interactions that Queen Draupadi have with the queens of Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So it's very nice. Actually, I should stop because time is going. But any comments or questions, you two left?
Thank you for the class, Prabhu. Yeah, that uh, sounds like I missed it. I missed this yatra. So like it's very, very nice and important. And what you was talking about, as far as the temple. It was like you said, it was a giant.
Horses.
Yeah, horses and something like what we seen in. I think that was in Vrindavan where. Um, the big giant lion and Durga is on the lion. I don't know if that was Vrindavan or Mayapur.
Oh yeah, in the entrance of Vrindavan that you see a big Durga.
Yeah, is it like that?
Durga and yeah, well, it's not that as big as that form of Durga Devi in the tiger on the lion, at the entrance of Vrindavan. But no, they're big. They're very big. They're imagine a huge temple, and then so the horses have to be a size that looks like the temple is a chariot.
Okay, okay, yeah, I would love to have seen that. You know, um, and like you said about the king, he sacrificed his body and his body parts. What was the purpose of that?
He wanted to use. He wanted to cultivate, the qualities of a devotee, but there were specific qualities. They named like 8 or 9, something, 8 different qualities. I can't remember. But suppose humility, um, compassion, these things, different qualities, um, tolerance, all these different things. He wanted to cultivate them. But he wanted to, to create a field cultivated with those qualities. And then the question was, what seeds are you going to use to cultivate these things? And he said, he used his body as a seed. That's what the story said.
There was a lot of different stories y'all heard, when y'all was there. That was one of the stories you heard when you was there about the king.
Yeah.
Man, I messed up.
Yeah, make sure you get in line for the next yatra. You're going to be in Sri Lanka. Right. Thank you so much, everybody. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.